All right, Milo, today we got a super simple concept to help people with their transition and stop yanking and pulling on this golf club. We're gonna make it super light in the backswing and then feel it heavy in transition.
You gotta help me understand, how do I make this club feel lighter?
Okay, so for me at least, to make it feel lighter, I need to have it feel above my hands and sort of the center of mass really up. Stand it up.
Yeah, so the more vertical the club sits, I don't even hardly have to hold it to keep it up. I'm just barely gripping that club.
Yeah.
Now if I start to tilt the golf club back this way, oh, all of a sudden I can feel the weight of it. It feels heavy now.
Or this way.
Or this way.
Which we see a lot of that.
Yeah. Well, anything that gets the center of mass out away from the grip cap, it's heavy there.
Yeah.
It's heavy over here, heavy out here, heavy back here.
So at some point towards the top of the backswing, we want to feel like the weight of the club it's like weightless. So you think of like a dumbbell or a kettlebell. If I kind of when it's just standing or I'm just holding it up, it's pretty heavy. But if I start to kind of move it up to about here, it gets really light for a second.
Yeah, when it's floating, it's really light.
Right? You think of your swing set analogy.
Yes.
So you're kind of riding that swing, you get up to the very top on the front end actually, and you feel like you're floating.
You're weightless for a second, right?
Yeah, and then you fall back in the chair and you go back the other way.
And then you get to the top on this end and you're floating.
Yeah.
And that's why it's fun.
But the only way to make that happen is if we have that nice up part, the standing up.
And so that's what we're going to talk about in this video, is how we make this club feel weightless.
Yeah.
And so part of the key is as we're winding this club up, we don't want to swing it back and get the center of mass behind us. That feels, that's heavy. Yeah. I want to feel like I'm taking this club and I'm tossing it up. Right here, it feels like it doesn't even weigh anything.
So a perfect way to practice this, and you do this all the time, is get a heavy club, or you can get a club, you can get one of those rings to put around the
donut,
the hosel, a donut. Yep. You could swing like, a couple clubs. Just to, I mean, people do it as a warm-up. Not always the best warm-up because sometimes you want to swing fast too. But it can be a good way to feel like, wow, I really got to stand this up to make it feel light, right?
For sure.
So if I have this power hitter here, I'm just like, the only time it's feeling light is right in here. If I go this way, that's heavy. So how do we get this to stand up? That's the question.
So much of it has to do with how we energize it. So we want to feel like we're putting the energy into it with our chest and our legs. So we're using this loading system to put energy into it. And then we're feeling like we're kind of letting our wrist toss the club up.
Yeah. So there's a bit of a folding or extending of that trail wrist, maybe a little radial mixed in.
Yeah, it's got to go a little radial because it starts ulnar. So because it starts in a little bit of an ulnar position, it's going to get itself back to here and with hinge. So it's going to have kind of a little combination of this purely extension. It's hard to go in purely extension with ulnar, so that's got to come out. It's got to go back to neutral and then extension, which tosses that club up nicely.
Now the other thing I see toss it up, you mentioned pressure shift, kind of energizing the system, but also how you're bending your upper spine and your thoracic here.
And that's what I mean by how I move my rib cage. So when I move my rib cage correctly, I'm lengthening out the trail side, and so there's a little bit of a bend in my ribs here. You can see this little curve. And then in transition, that's when we start to let it fall back and get heavy. We want to feel light and heavy.
So a good visual you can do for this, and I call this, sometimes I call this like red light, green light, but we'll call this orange stick, yellow stick. So what I do is in the backswing, I'm going to grip up a little bit on this. So I'm going to have the butt of the club point to that orange line. So somewhere between me and the ball.
Yep.
So that'd be pretty exaggerated. Okay, that'd be pretty dramatic.
Which is about exactly what my golf swing does.
But even if we got down at the ball, that would be different.
Okay.
That would be nice for some people.
Yeah.
Because they get it actually point outside the ball pretty early, going like that.
Yeah, most people do.
So if we can get it sort of, you could put a T in the back of the club here, the butt of the club. So get it pointed sort of at that orange line, and then turn it up. Okay, now I'm really stood it up. This club's really light.
Yep.
For how heavy of a club head it is. Shaft is vertical. So now in transition, now I'm going to get the butt of the club more at the ball line or that yellow line.
Yeah, ideally just outside ball line would be perfect.
So that's what I'm kind of, orange stick, yellow stick, orange stick, yellow stick. See, now you see this big orange club head make this little loop.
And when it does, you can start to feel it. You can feel the weight of that club back behind you.
Now it's heavy. Now I got to turn and burn.
Yep.
So why don't you get in here real quick again. Here's an exercise you do, especially with some of your senior golfers out here. Here's a really good little exercise you can do. So go ahead, set up. So now we're gonna start kind of moving a little bit, tossing this club to and from the target. Okay. And what I can do is I can just help you sling it up, so you really make that thing feel light. Whoosh. So you can see it stand up. So I've actually seen you have some senior golfers hit balls like this. I'll probably clip one in because it's so cool.
Yeah, I'll have them address the ball and then just get a little bit of flow going, and then I actually energize it for them.
Yeah.
Boom. Because oftentimes with senior golfers, what I see, they go this way, and their swings are short.
And their arms fold up really fast. Their right arm gets really pulled in and behind them.
They start looking like this, trying to hit it, where if I toss this club up, toss it for me, woo, then all of a sudden their swings get big.
Like, whoa, that club head's really light.
Yeah, it's light, and
I can really move that thing now.
Then they bomb it.
Yeah, they do. So that's a nice little exercise you can do. But if you don't have a partner to make it happen, start moving a little bit, create a little energy. Think about tossing that kettlebell up and over your right shoulder. I've seen you in a recent golf school. You had a student take a bucket, just an empty range bucket, and start moving, and actually toss it like up and behind them over their shoulder, like just went whoosh. You know, so you can get some movement going, do some exercises to feel that versus maybe having a partner do it for you.
Yeah, there's lots of things you could do. Medicine ball, a bucket, anything just to get you starting to move your body and use your body's mass to kind of sling your arms and the club up.
Yeah. Okay, you got to hit one with a power hitter.
No, I got to hit a power hitter?
Nice and slow. Let's see you stand that thing up, energize it. Let's do one of those where we call it energize and organize. I think Ed coined that one. So you're going to energize it, organize, and just chip one out there. Not even a full swing.
Okay.
So they can really see that loop. Energize, organize. Nice. And you see that orange club head get up and then back around.
Woo! Well, that was pretty good.
So once you've got it stood up in transition, you got to feel like, okay, the club's light now. Now I can just leave it up. I don't need to pull it down. Many of you at home are pulling down because it's heavy to begin with.
Yeah, well that's what, yeah, exactly.
So the backswing, for anybody that says the backswing doesn't matter, it kind of does.
Yeah, it's kind of how you set everything up so you can, it's like set up all the dominoes, tip over one, and they all fall down.
Yeah.
If you set them up wrong, you can't get them to fall down.
I mean, that's how we start with our academy, right? We start with our setup and our grip. Grip is huge for what we talk about. And then from there, how we sort of set the stage in the takeaway and backswing.
Yep.
So if you guys need help with that end of your game, do come over to milolinesgolf.com. Milo gives you that initial eval that's so crucial to help you kind of diagnose what you need to work on for your swing, because maybe you don't need to stand it up as much. Maybe
you're already doing it.
Maybe you're doing it too much. I don't know. Maybe you're Matt Wolfing it, right?
Yeah.
So come check it out. We can give you an eval, and then we have a site with hundreds of videos that can kind of help guide you along that process as well. So milolinesgolf.com, and then we hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hit like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.